Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Before we dive into today's story, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it helps us bring more content like this your way. And just a little heads up, we have a PDS available with today's conversation and a vocabulary list, so you can follow along and practice as you listen.
Yeah, that's right. I always love sharing these conversations because it's not just about stories, it's about learning from life in real time. Today, we're talking about tiny moments that changed our lives. Sounds a bit dramatic, right? But honestly, it's the small events that sometimes make the biggest difference.
Exactly. I mean, we all think big life changes come from huge decisions, like moving countries or changing careers. But if you really look back, it's often tiny, almost invisible moments that shift your life completely.
Oh, absolutely. Like the other day, I was walking to the coffee shop, just my usual morning routine, and I bumped into this old friend from school. We hadn't spoken in like 10 years. That one 5-minute chat led to a project I'm working on now, and it's honestly opened so many doors for me.
Wow, that's amazing. It's funny how something that feels so random at the time can turn out to be huge. I've had that happen too, actually. I remember this one afternoon, I was stuck in a tiny bookstore because it started raining. I picked up a book almost randomly, and it ended up changing my entire perspective on creativity. That single book literally inspired me to start my first blog, which eventually led to some work I'm really proud of.
That's exactly it. And sometimes it's not even about meeting someone or finding a book. Tiny moments can be little choices we don't even think about, like choosing to say yes to something we'd normally ignore, or even choosing to be kind to a stranger. Those decisions stack up over time.
Totally. I have this tiny moment I think about all the time. One day, I was at a cafe and I noticed someone struggling to carry their tray. I offered to help and we started talking. That simple act of kindness led to a friendship that I still value deeply. And honestly, it reminded me how small gestures can really change someone's day or even your own life.
Yeah, it's wild when you think about cause and effect in life. Like one tiny thing sets off a chain of events that you never would have predicted. I read somewhere that the choices we think are unimportant can sometimes have the biggest impact. I think it's called the butterfly effect.
Yeah, exactly. A tiny butterfly slap can lead to a hurricane somewhere else, metaphorically speaking. And it's not just big, dramatic life changes. It's also personal growth, like making the choice to wake up early for a morning walk or deciding to listen instead of argue. Those small habits shape who we become.
That reminds me, one morning I literally almost skipped my run because I was tired. But I pushed myself to go and I ended up meeting this coach at the park. That tiny decision led to guidance that really improved my fitness and mindset. If I'd stayed in bed, none of that would have happened.
That's such a good example. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of small actions. Like journaling for 5 minutes a day sounds tiny, right? But over months, it really shifts your awareness and clarity. Those little routines are tiny sparks that lead to bigger changes.
Absolutely. And I love that these moments often come with a little surprise too. Like when you don't expect anything to happen and suddenly life throws something meaningful your way. I had that experience with a simple compliment once. I was feeling down and a stranger told me they liked the way I explained something at work. It was such a tiny thing, but it gave me the confidence boost I needed to pitch a big idea later that week.
I love that. It's incredible how encouragement, even from someone we don't know well, can really shift our mindset. And that's something listeners should remember. Never underestimate the power of words. A few kind words at the right moment can create a ripple effect in someone's life.
Definitely. And it's not always positive moments that change us. Sometimes tiny challenges have the biggest impact. Like a minor failure or a small mistake can teach lessons that stick with you forever. I remember dropping my phone into a fountain years ago. It was a total disaster, but it actually taught me patience and how to handle unexpected stress.
Oh, wow, a fountain incident. That sounds dramatic. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. One tiny mistake I made in college, messing up a group assignment, felt terrible at the time. But it taught me how to communicate better and manage teamwork, which became incredibly valuable later in life. Those little setbacks are often disguised as learning opportunities.
True. And speaking of learning, I think tiny moments also teach us empathy. I had this experience on a bus where a little kid dropped their ice cream, and instead of walking by, I helped him clean it up. He gave me the biggest smile. It was such a small interaction, but it reminded me how connected we all are.
That's beautiful. And it makes me think of expressions that are useful in these contexts. Like when you say, it's the little things that count, it really captures the idea that small actions can have big effects. And listeners, don't worry, I'll explain a few more expressions along the way.
Great! I actually like using life changing in the smallest ways when I talk about these moments. It sounds a bit dramatic, but it's accurate. Tiny events can sneak in and shift your path without you even realizing it.
Exactly. And another one I love is a split-second decision. That's when you make a choice in just a moment, often without overthinking, and it completely changes your day or life. Like when you decided to go on that run, Alex, instead of staying in bed. That was a split-second decision that had a big impact.
True, true. And I like using ripple effect a lot too. It's perfect for describing how one tiny act can lead to a series of events, like that compliment I got at work. One small sentence created a ripple that influenced my whole week.
Oh, yes, and for mistakes or lessons, silver lining is such a handy expression. It's about finding the positive side of a negative experience. Like my group assignment mishap, it had a silver lining in the end because I learned teamwork skills I still use today.
Perfect examples. And I think what really connects all these moments is awareness. You have to notice them, even if they seem small. One of my favorite tiny moments was literally just looking up at the sky during a busy day and noticing the sunset. That 10-second pause completely shifted my mood.
I totally get that. Mindfulness is key, and it's amazing how small, ordinary moments can feel extraordinary if we just pay attention. One rainy afternoon, I decided to sit by the window and watch people walking with umbrellas. I started thinking about life, choices, and dreams, and honestly, that little pause sparked a lot of personal reflection that changed how I approached challenges later.
That's so true. And I think it's also about being open to possibilities. Sometimes life gives you tiny hints, little nudges that you might ignore if you're not paying attention, like an unexpected invitation, a random conversation, or even a small coincidence.
Exactly. And I like to call those life nudges. They might be subtle, but they guide you. One tiny nudge I experienced was signing up for a workshop on a whim. It ended up introducing me to a mentor who completely changed my career direction.
That's a perfect example. And I think tiny moments often come with emotions that stick, like joy, surprise, relief, or even frustration. Those emotions make the memory vivid, so it stays with us. I still remember that coffee shop encounter vividly, even though it was just 5 minutes long.
And the emotions make it motivational too. For our listeners, I want to say, don't wait for a huge life-changing event. Embrace small experiences, take little actions, notice tiny opportunities. Those are often the moments that quietly guide you to where you need to go.
Couldn't agree more. And it's also about reflection. At the end of each day, think about one small moment that had an impact, positive or negative. It trains your mind to see significance in everyday life.
I do that too, and it's fun. One evening, I noted down 3 tiny positive moments in my journal. A smile from a stranger, a funny conversation with my neighbor, and discovering a new song. And you know what? After a month, I realized how much happier and grateful I felt just by noticing small things.
That's beautiful. I think that's the practical advice we can share with our listeners. First, notice small moments. Second, reflect on them. And third, embrace the tiny actions you can take daily. Even 5 minutes of kindness, curiosity, or learning can lead to life-changing results.
Absolutely. And don't forget, tiny moments can also inspire creativity. One small walk, a simple conversation, or a new place can spark ideas that lead to projects, art, or solutions you'd never expect.
Right. And the key takeaway is that life is full of these tiny, often invisible moments. They don't announce themselves and they're easy to overlook. But if you pay attention, they can change everything. And honestly, that's kind of magical.
It really is. So, listeners, remember to pause, notice, and engage with life. Those little moments might seem insignificant now, but down the line, they could turn out to be pivotal. And for today, we encourage you to think about your own tiny moments that shaped your life.
Yeah, take a minute to reflect on even the smallest things. A short chat, a smile, a split-second decision, and consider how it might have changed your path. You'll be surprised.
And don't forget, you can download the PDF with today's conversation and vocabulary list to practice these expressions. It's a great way to notice the small improvements in your English skills, too.
Exactly. And that's a wrap for today. We hope our stories inspire you to look for and embrace the tiny moments in your own life. Sometimes those are the ones that matter the most.
Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, life-changing moments don't always come with fanfare. Often they're quiet, small, and right under your nose.
Couldn't have said it better. Catch you next time. And as always, notice the tiny moments. They really do add up to something big.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!